Hey folks, Frank Zarilla here. 7:56 p.m. Eastern Time. Just gonna do a quick video. I'm gonna try to make it as quick as possible about the market. You know, the indices are doing okay. You can argue they might be a little short-term extended here. The S&P 500 is up roughly about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 of the last 8 days. Looks short-term extended. The Qs, similar situation. IWM, a little bit weaker, battling with this orange anchor VWAP, which is the election day VWAP. As far as the breadth indicators that I follow for short-term trading, they're positive. They're above the 5-day moving average, which is exactly what we look for. The other one here, stocks above the 20-day moving average, same thing. It got below the 5-day today intraday, but it's back above. A little consolidation here would not be out of the question. But as of right now, with these breadth monitors that I follow for short-term trading, 1 to 5 days, they're positive. You still need to look for quality setups. What I've noticed over the last couple of days, over the last few days, that the small names are not acting well. We have very little follow through. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go through the rolling 5-day watch list, starting from the 1 and 115. KULR was, good one, great winner. In hindsight, I sold it too soon. We got involved here, 117 and 25.37. Pretty much going through this high right over here. Tremendous move, right? I like this stock, right? It's a theme stock. Traded tremendous volume right over here for multiple days in a row. Consolidated for a couple of months. Tightened up here, and then it just took off. PTIR, this was a short-term trade. Again, in hindsight, I sold this way too soon. Got involved in 115. Right over here, 105.91, took off to 139. EOSE, this was a good 1 to 1 day move for the most part. 496. This one was one of the smaller names that actually did okay. Was up 20% overnight. BKKT, this one got stopped out. You can pretty much say I choked the trade. 24.41 out on this day right over here. Then it just took off. Bitcoin just took off. Lunar did okay. 1833 had a nice move over the next couple of days, but then really took off 2 days ago when Trump said that he wants to send people to Mars. RKLB, this one I lost money on. Well, got involved here, did well. It pulled back, and then I was stopped out. Again, you can say that I choked the trade, whatever the case may be, but also like LUNR had a big move a couple of days ago after Trump said what he said about Mars. CRDL, good move, right? I want to sell these things on the way up. I want to sell these things on days 3 to 5. We got involved right over here on 115 through this high. Had a decent move. Sienna did not get involved in this one. Rum had a decent 1-day move, 11.35. I sold some as high as $13 a share the next day. RDDT, again, great looking setup. Got involved here 117 or at least 115, 116, 117 right over here. Down multiple days in a row through the high. I sold some. I still own a piece that I'm trailing with a trailing stop to see if I get lucky. This thing might get to 200 before earnings. LPTA should not get involved with this one. SERV is setting up. Robotic stock. Bought this one, was it 115? Did I buy this here somewhere? 1.3 right over here. And I own some right over here, very small position, anticipating a breakout. GGGL, these big names have been doing well. Long right over here, 115 through this high. Sold some. I still own the piece, trailing some. Bought this 46.21, 47.31. Sold some here on this day over here. And I'm trading this with a stop. They report, Google reports pretty soon. So we'll see what happens. RBRK. Again, these big names are the ones that are doing well. Bought this at 67.20. There was a shakeout right over here, and I bought it right back once it crossed back above the 21-day moving average. All right, so look, this is not the way I was expecting it to go. The big names are doing well. AVGO bought on 115, 230.06. Bought again on the list 234.65 and 116. I sold some on the way up right over here, and I'm trailing a piece with a very wide stop. And what I want to do is I want to sell these things on days 3 to 5, right? I want to sell some on the way up. Something like this, like an AVGO. It's a name brand company. There's been a lot of hedge fund institutions have been buying the stock. These large cap Russell 1000 stocks, they tend to respect the 21-day moving average, which is this yellow line right over here. So very simply, I want to try to hold the piece until it breaks the 21-day moving average. Now, with this AVGO, I sold on the way up, but I'm waiting for it to set up again under the, if it's got a proper setup and breadth is still positive, the short-term breadth that I look at, I'm going to go back and buy it again and buy more, right? So that's what I'm looking to do this year, is to try to hold on to some of these large cap companies, try to trade the same ones over and over and over again as they set up properly. So here's what I'm talking about. Some of these small cap plays, right? Like ABAT went long right over here at 214. It goes up immediately, but then it sells off, right? So these smaller names have not been following through. ALAP was one that really didn't follow through at all. One of the rare big cap names. BE was on my list right over here. 116. 2381. Now that's the thing, right? So right over here, 2381. It did not break the previous day high, so it didn't trigger the following day. And then for some reason, I'm not sure why they didn't buy the stock here, but I had a big day today. CLPT Robotics was on the list on 116, which is right over here. The volume for me was too low, which again, it doesn't matter. The volume's completely relative, right? So it might be low for me, and normally what I do, if it's too low, I might buy a little bit, but it's completely relative to the size of your account. So don't let low, what people consider low volume, deter you from owning that stock if that volume is okay relative to your account size. CTM, here's one. Again, no follow through. Sold some, I think as high as, 10 to 15%, but it really didn't follow through. DocU couldn't get going. FRSX, another small cap name. It started to run, but it just didn't follow through. Fubu's looking okay. Jivo, another name. Again, up right at, bought it, went up immediately, could not follow through. These small names have not been following through. This one I sold up some, up 10%, just couldn't follow through. RDW, big move. Again, this was a combination of the fact that they bought a company and also the whole Trump-Mars thing. Had a huge stay right over here. This is going to set up again eventually. Rivian, again, nice move, overnight move and some news. 1426. Up, I think, almost 10% the following day. No follow through, but made some money on it. Rum as well. Stem didn't trigger. All right, Tesla, it's looking okay. This isn't actually, for me, this is a setup going through this high, 420.73, with a stop here at $408 a share. You got the 21-day moving average over here. You can use this low right over here, 406.31 as your stop. I'm going to use TSLA, the double ETF, as my vehicle. MVST looks good. It just couldn't go here, right? Small caps are not doing well as of right now. That can change tomorrow. APLD, okay. Long at 931. So some today as high as up 50 cents. Just really can't get going. A little choppy. CRNC, again, long 1323 right over here. Up 15, 20% the next day. I trailed some with a $2 stop. and it was executed. Sometimes when when you do these trailers, you want to give it room, but the stock is too volatile, and I wish I would have sold it when I sold it instead of losing $2 from the high. All right, so let's see, ARBE, again, another small robotic name. Nice move over here, just couldn't follow through. CRWD, again, inside day right over here, sideways for about 2 months. Sold some already, up $10 a share, just a small piece. Have sell orders plus 15, plus $20. This looks okay. CTM, we spoke about. Docky, we spoke about. This one, again, just can't follow through. MBOT, nice stay. Triggers right over here going through 176. Hits a high of 239, but sells off, and it doesn't follow through. Meta was too choppy for me. All right, so let's try to look for some ideas for tomorrow. So my first go-to scan is going to be the inside day, and I'm going to look, first I'm going to scan through the inside day from stocks that come from the scan that produces the biggest short-term percentage winners. Not dollar, but percentage winners in the short term, all right? So let's see if we can find something that's exciting, that's tight. This one, robotic OUST, traded an inside day on extremely low volume. This whole robotic thing, it's a theme that was working really well over here. It might come back. I like the stock going through 10.79. You can put a stop here at $10.40. $129. This company reports on 123. TEVA had a big move over here on the back of some news. We know that Stanley Druckenmiller, this was one of his top buys in the third quarter of 2024. Printed an inside day. 129 is sometime next week. I like this stock going through 22.11. Buy stop 22.15. Stop, you have to give it to the 21-day moving average, which is 21.19. So you're selling this stock by 129, okay, right before their numbers. But TEVA, buy stop 22.11, 22.15, stop 21-day moving average. You see ONDS, right? Long here at 220, through this high, gets to 246, and it just doesn't go. That's just been the main theme with these smaller names. CAN is another one, right? High performance computing goes up, heavy volume, 54 million shares, can't follow through. Again, I'm looking at this MVST, right? This video goes out to Twitter, and they hear me saying that small caps have not been doing well. They're going to do well tomorrow. But MVST, right? It's a stock that traded some significant shares, relative speaking. It's exactly what we're looking for with some of these stocks, which is a stock that's trading near 52-week lows, barely trading any shares whatsoever. And then suddenly news comes out. Stock trades a tremendous amount of shares here. It was 1.1 billion shares on tremendous volume. And then you have the multiple setups, right? If you didn't get it the first day, it's going to set up, a few days after. So right here, this might be the third time where it sets up, right? So the first time is going to be right over here. Second time right over here. This is pretty much the third time. High of 207, buy stop 210, stop 190. Target is up, looking to sell most of the inventory in days 3 to 5. days 3 to day 5. Another robotic stock, okay, long here 114, 289, makes a nice move yesterday, just can't follow through, but this is a big move from 289 to roughly here 390, and this looks okay. It doesn't look bad. I mean, it doesn't look bad at all. If these names were performing a little bit better, this would definitely be on the list, but I'm going to skip it for now. If I have to think about it for too long, then it's just no good. Wix is a name that's been holding up extremely well. I know today some news came out, I believe, with Google. But this stock's been holding up really well, down multiple days in a row, down 4 days in a row. This thing printed an inside day on the lowest volume in the last 10 days. That's what this blue candle is, right? So this blue candle here is an inside day on the lowest volume in the last 10 days. This orange candle, it's a NR7 day, right? Narrowest range in the last 7 days. This purple candle here is when the stock was up 4% or greater on that day on 3 times the average 20-day volume. And the yellow candles are just inside days. So I like this stock going through 236.57. You got to use a 21-day moving average, which is roughly 228.52. So stop 228. Okay, so we're done with the inside days with stocks that were up at, that came from the scan that creates the best short-term percentage gainers. So let's go to the high cap, the big cap companies, the Russell 1000, stocks that printed an inside day, to see if we can find some decent setups. Wix is one of them, high cap Russell 1000 names. These stocks have been doing a lot better than the small caps, so it's on the list. Let's see if we find some other ones. NTRA, right? This thing's been traded. This was up here huge, 4.5 million shares, which is pretty big for this stock. It's been trading sideways since then. If I'm not mistaken, this might have been earnings. We know that Stanley Druckenmiller, this is one of his recent buys. The stock looks okay, inside day, buy stop 173.10. This yellow line here is a 21-day moving average. That's roughly at 166.94, so call it stop 166 just for you to give it some room. CRWD, we're long already, right? Inside day through the high. It prints another inside day on the lowest volume. We're long. Stock's been trading sideways for roughly 2 months. I like this stock a lot. I already own it. Duolingo. 400,000 shares. It looks good, right? It looks okay. I'm gonna skip it. $464. And some of these are actionable, right? So what I do is, you can't see my top screen, but what I do is I take all these inside days and I copy them to another watch list, which I call intra inside day. And then, like, for example, tomorrow, all these names are going to be on this one scan, and I'm going to put one single parameter, which is today's price is higher than yesterday's close. That means that they triggered. So some of these names, if I'm looking for names during the day, I'll go to that scan, and any stock that perhaps that I passed on, like a few of these, I might take them tomorrow if they go through the previous day high. Like, for example, regionals RF is something that doesn't excite me. It's not a big short-term mover, but it printed an inside day on the lowest volume. You can see here a possible character change with a 21-day moving average, as it's been acting as resistance right over here. It finally gets above, and now it's respecting the 21-day moving average. This is an easy trade, right? So 24.47, buy stop 24.50, stop right over here at this low at $24 a share, right? So, like I said, the target is up. What are we looking for? We're looking for something like this, right? Down 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. Right over here, it sets up. And we're buying through this high, and we're selling on the way up. That's what we're doing. You can trail some, but I want to sell, take advantage of these short-term moves right over here after a consolidation or some type of pullback. Consolidates for a few days, has a big up move. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to repeat that over and over again. So just to keep it simple here, we came across a few names for tomorrow's list. 124, and the stocks are OUST, Teva, MVST, Wix, and TRA. These are it right here, right? We don't know which stock is gonna break out, which one's going to follow through or not follow through. We can have an idea that this one might be the biggest percentage winner because it's got the lowest market cap and the lowest float. We can probably agree that Wix might be the biggest dollar mover because it's got the highest ATR and it's a high price stock. This one here, NTRA as well. But again, the market short term is a little bit overextended. Any gap up is going to make this a little bit more difficult to get involved. Best case scenario is we gap down and open lower, but breadth stays positive, and then these stocks trigger sometime throughout the day. All right, so trade them well and be well.